This is Scott Richmond
and Arnie Sherman.
You're listening to What Do You Know on Newstalk KGVO, AM 1290 and 98.3 FM. Arnie, good morning.
Good morning, Scott. We're into the typical Montana summer where one day it's 80 degrees and one day it's 50 degrees.
Ridiculous.
You know, it's odd. It's an odd June in this neck of the woods because of that. It's hard to plan. We were going to play golf the other day, and we
got rained out.
Got rained out.
Rain
in June, and it's hard to plan and hard to schedule things. But in any event, I was thinking as I rode over this morning, that we've actually had guests on that have been helpful to us personally, not necessarily in a financial way, but for example. We had Andrew Flickman, Nick McKetherin from the Ranch Club on,
golf,
preparing us for the golf season.
They were great.
We went out last weekend and played for the first time, following their guidance and their instruction, and we played pretty good for the first time out. No practice.
You had a birdie.
I had 2 pars and a birdie in the
two
front
pars
yard.
and a birdie.
Yeah,
a birdie.
But that's lucky. That's just lucky.
You played well.
The rest of the. But we followed their instruction, and then. A week ago, we had Mike Belkowski from Proactive Health talking about health, diet, and fitness, and I noticed that we're back on that. You're running again at the airport, and I'm on the ketone diet and killing myself with that. And I've had my needles and cupping and other kinds of health and fitness regime, and I'm feeling better as a result of that. So
you're doing great, by the way.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying. It's good, but we're learning a lot from our guests. Yeah. Now the guests we have this week, I don't know how much we're going to learn from, but a year ago we had Meg Ross on the show when she was
I remember.
Just in the infancy of her company, the Nooky Box, which for our listeners who didn't watch that show or are not familiar with,
didn't listen to that show,
Meg is a Missoula born and reared entrepreneur who now is the founder and CEO of what is considered the premier adult subscription company for toys and other adult novelties and sex products there, and she has a curated box of a subscription box that comes out quarterly, and
Ephemera.
It's curated by sex experts, and there's a new theme every 3 months, and it keeps it fun and fresh, and she's done interviews now in Cosmo and Slate and Glamour. And
a local Missoulian.
Right. So I thought it would be a good idea, 1 year after she came on when she was kicking the company off, to have her come back and tell us what she's learned in the last year, what's happening in the industry.
A progress report.
A progress report, from a local entrepreneur and try to find out, what's going on with her company, what's going on in the industry, and, what are the hot topics, fads, trends.
Let's hope things are looking up.
Yes, let's hope things are looking up. I do know that she is going to be engaged in her version of a crowdsource fundraising activity that's coming up nationwide. And so I want to hear about that as well. But it's good every once in a while to bring an entrepreneur back after a year to see if their goals and aspirations have been achieved, or if they haven't been, if they've been thwarted. What really has happened.
And you actually helped her find other patrons, people that were interested in helping her,
right?
And
well,
maybe help her grow her business.
I did introduce her as did you to other potential funders or advisors or lawyers, other people that she could work with to build, to try to build her company.
That's the nice thing about What Do You Know, ladies and gentlemen, is that we actually connect people. We network people through this show.
Yeah, when we're not on the air, we operate and try to help the people that we're interviewing and come in contact with. Yeah.
It's good business, and you are listening to What Do You Know? We're going to be back, right, with Meg Ross,
founder of the Nooky Box.
Proudly supported, not the Nooky Box, but What Do You Know? Proudly supported by Don Maddox, Glacier Sotheby's International Realty. We'll be back after this. Arnie, we are back with Meg from the Nooky Box.
Meg, how you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks, guys.
You probably don't remember this because it's been a whirlwind year for you, but it was just a year ago when you were on the show.
Yeah,
and your company was only a couple of months old. You were just a couple of months into it, and we know, and we mentioned earlier, that you're going to be doing a crowdfunding event on June 28th.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And so why don't you give us a Nooky Box update, and then we'll maybe do an industry update, okay?
Sure.
So what's been going on this last year?
Oh, my gosh, you're right. It has been a whirlwind, that's for sure. We went from, obviously, starting up to having about 400 active subscribers.
And an active subscriber means?
It means that those subscribers are purchasing a subscription, and they're getting a new order every 3 months.
Right, and just for the listeners who maybe were not here a year ago, what are they getting every 3 months?
So every 3 months, they're going to be getting a Nooky Box. So in the box is a themed, curated box. We have a one toy, a fun lube, and other fun products that all work together in terms of functionality and compatibility, that kind of thing.
Right,
So,
and that's curated by yourself and sex experts
Correct.
and feedback from other customers,
Yeah.
and it's themed to a time of year like Valentine's Day, for
Yeah,
example.
exactly.
Yeah, and then you have your own Spotify list of music that you put in there?
we do. So we always have a Spotify playlist. We always put in an erotic story that kind of suggests something to do with the products in the box.
I remember when
This is a
Penthouse. Remember when Penthouse was the only place you could find those made-up stories? You
Yeah.
know, the letters to the editor.
Other than what was in my mind. But Meg's a Missoula company. This is a Missoula-based company that's doing this, right? You're
Right.
born and bred here in Montana.
Okay, so it's been a whirlwind.
Yes,
Been a
tell us.
whirlwind.
You got 400 people that are now subscribing and get quarterly boxes of curated
Of Nooky.
Yeah.
Nooky.
Yeah.
And what else going on?
Well, to be clear, we've sold a lot more than just to those 400 subscribers.
Right.
And we've sold a tremendous amount. We had a really, really good first year. And we focused only on the subscription side of the company, which is just those new boxes every 3 months. But now we are going to start focusing a little bit more energy on one-off boxes.
And what are those, and why are you going to focus on them?
Sure. I mean, there's a handful of people that really like to have that new experience every 3 months, but then there's a lot of people that don't want to have to buy a subscription, cancel a subscription, et cetera, and they also maybe just want one type of product or a product for one specific thing. So we're trying to cater to both sides now, and we really kind of developed that. It was an idea at the beginning. Always wanted to do it, but we got a lot of feedback from our current customers saying, that would be a really nice option. Not just for them, but also gifting.
Right, yeah.
It's a
when
really
you don't know
fun
what to
thing
get someone, you can get them that.
Yeah, exactly. And there's all
Exactly.
sorts of reasons to do it.
Yeah.
It's a great gift. But selling kind of items a la carte, right? And kind of curating just what the stuff that you guys think is important, right?
Yeah. So what we're doing with the signature boxes themselves is we're focusing on maybe a boy or a girl separately, like a single men's box. We're calling the bro box. The single girls box is called the Betty box. So we're curating those around what those individuals may use by themselves, and maybe they don't have a partner, or maybe they do, but they just want one time, one experience, and they want the right products, the things that work for them.
That reminds me of one of my favorite Woody Allen jokes. He said in one of his movies, my first time having sex was a horrifying, terrifying experience. It was dark, and I was all alone. So now you have a solution for that.
But how do you? So Meg? How do you determine what fits or what is the right product for that consumer?
Yeah, I mean that's the most challenging part. I mean we do a lot of collaborations with different companies, with different vendors. First, we go and try and find the newer products, things that are selling really well, things that get really, really great reviews, and then we test them. I mean, whether or not it's just
R&D.
us. Yep, lots of R&D. So we have different people that we send products to, and we say, hey, try this out, or hey, try this out over here. So we're getting a lot of feedback from other people other than just ourselves.
Right. Plus, you spent the year doing a lot of traveling. I know you went to trade shows and other events. Tell us a little about what kind of events and what you learned from those experiences.
Well, the first thing I learned is that not every event is necessary to go to.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
And that this is an industry that is a little challenged in the sense that you have kind of extremes,
Sure.
and that's really not our customer. Our customers aren't necessarily people that are looking for an extreme experience.
They're not triple X customers.
No, I mean these are people that want to introduce something new. Generally, people that are really into, let's just say, BDSM. I mean, they already know what they want.
What does that stand for?
Bondage.
Bondage. Okay,
yeah.
fair.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good with the acronym, but
Yeah. So we're very cognizant of some people wanting to introduce new things, but it has to be of the right caliber. It has to be the right level, because if it's too extreme,
it'll
we're
turn people off.
Yeah,
But people
absolutely.
are-
Oddly enough,
many,
an odd
many-
choice of words.
Many couples are interested in reinvigorating their romantic life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes it takes a Spotify list or an oil or a lube,
Right.
or a reason to do it.
Sure.
So your home is providing
Or a shopping spree.
a medicinal service to many people, well, at least to 400 people who feel that they need something.
And where
like
are
that.
your customers? Where are they located?
Oh my
Everywhere,
gosh.
right?
They are everywhere. We have customers all over the country, and in Canada. We've had
age range, broad age range.
between 30 and 55, I would say, is about average. We have some people that are a little bit younger, some people that are a little bit older, but that's the average.
And how are they finding out about you?
Well, we do have some Google search, of
Right.
course. We are a web-based business, so people are searching for certain things, and they find us. Then we also have a really, really strong social media presence.
Mm-hmm.
We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on Pinterest, and that
Your product's
those-
made for Instagram.
Yeah.
And Pinterest.
it's super fun.
visual.
that
And then
way.
you had some good high visibility articles, right? In Cosmo. and
We
Flight,
did,
Glamour.
yeah. After I saw
How did
you
that come
last
about?
year,
Yes.
it,
This all
it's-
happened after a year ago. After
Yeah.
She was here a year ago.
How did you get Cosmo? Because that's really a hard placement to get. Did they
Well-
call you? Did you call them?
Well, we did a press release
Uh-huh.
and put that out on the wire, and then you're just constantly, touching base with these people again and again until somebody,
story
takes
works.
the hook, and we were on Slate first, and that was when we really started to see sales just boom. Then we've been in Thrillist, Revelist, Cosmo Glamour. So we've really,
Wow.
yeah, it's been amazing. So the other way that people are really finding us, other than through articles or just natural searches, we're on a lot of review sites. There's a lot of people out there that have their own blogs, and they blog about reviewing subscription boxes in particular, and some specifically just sex toys. So we have collaborations with them. We'll send them a box, let them review it. Their customers come to us.
Consumers are very committed to the notion of reading reviews by other people that are not professionals
Right.
Sure.
to see whether or not you should buy this product.
Yeah.
I
There's a trust.
know people won't buy anything unless it's been, or a good example of that is something like TripAdvisor, and the success of that really is reading other people's experience at a hotel that you might be considered going to,
Right.
that you've never been to before.
Right.
And the same thing applies here. People want to
Recommendations.
know that the Nooky Box curated box, someone has taken a look at it and they think it's good.
Yeah, exactly. And I will say the one thing that kind of stands us apart or kind of puts us at a different caliber than a lot of other just companies is that we're not just choosing one product and selling it.
Right.
We're choosing a group of products. Again, they all have to work together. So just for instance, you can't put silicone-based lube with a silicone toy. Not everybody knows that.
Right.
We choose the toys that work with the lube that's going in it.
Pairings, they call
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and
You can't drink a red wine with
it.
fish.
Fish.
yeah, that is wrong.
Yeah, right.
Unless it's
Unless
a
it's a hearty,
rosé.
right? Rosé.
But you need an expert for that, and that's what we have,
Right, exactly.
Nooky Box for.
Meg, a question for you. So, in so doing this, right, and doing these pairings and doing this R&D, what type of media do you use to demonstrate? Do you do photos, like for Instagram and some of the social media? Do you do videos?
Yeah, we are just getting into the video section, and let's just be clear, we're just doing videos of us talking about the products, not using the products.
But showing
But
showing
yes.
what the product looks like, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why not?
we it just takes a little while when you're a startup to get everything in motion and find the time and prioritizing what you should be doing first and not. So up until recently, we had other people doing some video for us, and now we've started the process of doing our own unboxing videos where we're announcing a new box. This is what's in it, and we talk about why we chose it, why it's in this box.
So it's like behind the scenes.
Correct. Yeah.
That's
super
great.
fun.
Before you
yeah.
go to the movie, you get to see what's happening.
Sneak preview.
Exactly.
Sneak preview.
Exactly.
Listen, let's do a quick ID. You're listening to What Do You Know on Newstalk KGVO, proudly supported and sponsored by Dawn Maddox, Glacier Sotheby International Realty.
So give me an industry update. Is there anything happening in general? I mean, sex is the oldest, industry of all, but are there any hot topics, fads? What's new? What's going on? What have you seen from the trade shows and the other events you've gone to?
Well, the first thing that I would say that I've noticed the most of is that there's so many people making new toys, and just kind of an overwhelming amount. And I didn't realize when I first got into this, because it wasn't really about the money when I first started. I really wanted to provide an experience.
Right.
And then I started to, really get into this, and I realized that, sex toys are the #1 seller on Amazon. It is. It's.
Was that right?
Yeah, it's huge. And there's a new toy that is being come up with every month. There's just somebody that's deciding that they want to make a new toy. I mean, we literally put in the cutest vibrator in this last box, and it's the shape of the emoji eggplant.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, who comes up with this stuff?
Well, that happens to be a shape that people are seeing a lot of because they use emojis all the time.
Right. Exactly.
Great marketing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a fun
I'm
concept.
looking at it right now.
Yeah.
Scott's ordering it while we're having this conversation.
It's so cute.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. You can't see this on the radio. It's Theater of the Mind, but go on
There
to
it is.
thenookybox.com and you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
Let me see it again.
Sure, Arnie.
It kind of it reminds me of you, but that's maybe my
Looks like
theater
a
of the
telephone.
mind.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Does this thing work?
So that's one of the things. Any other things besides the new toys?
Well, I do think that we're seeing a lot more people starting to reach out and buy toys in general,
Right.
and that's
And what about
naturally.
technology? I mean, technology affects everything, right?
Yep.
You got all this, Google devices that you can say turn on Netflix or what's the temperature outside?
Sure.
Where's the closest pizza joint? Is technology something that's now marrying with the sex toy industry as you've seen it?
Yeah, a large amount, actually. I mean, I'm sure that you guys probably both heard of the one company that I'm not going to mention names, but who actually got into trouble because they had put in some kind of tracking system where they could actually track what the users of the vibrators were doing without anybody knowing.
NSA.
Yeah.
And
Edward Snowden.
yeah, exactly. So, they got into a tremendous amount of trouble there, but that technology is something that people actually want. Maybe not for people to be tracking it, but the ability to have an app control a toy or a different remote so that you could actually be experiencing something with someone else, even if they're not in the same room
That's
with you
right.
or in the same city.
My brother and I talked about this 35 years ago.
Yeah.
No, the minute the personal PC came aboard, right? And then you started to have wearables and things like that. And now, here you're talking about devices and toys. They're all controllable.
We all know that the primary purpose for a PC is either, the porn or cats and dog pictures. I mean, that's the only thing I ever see on the computer.
They should just have emojis actually on the keyboard. Porn, cat, dog.
Right,
So let's talk
exactly.
about money for a minute here.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing a crowdsourcing fundraising campaign.
Yep,
And it's going to launch June 28th.
that's correct.
So tell us about that.
Yeah, so we have decided that instead of us doing another fundraise with outside investors, that we were going to go through Indiegogo and raise the capital for our signature boxes that way. And it's a very typical business move for startups. I mean, we did a little fundraising when we first started on Indiegogo as well. Now we're launching a new product, so we think that people are going to really like this. And it's almost like pre-selling.
Right.
We're pre-selling. We know how many people want this box, and it gives us a way of testing what signature boxes are going to sell better than others. So we know which ones to
And the
invest.
risk is removed.
Yes, exactly.
The
Then we
risk
know
is removed.
where to invest our money and our energy.
Right.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what's your goal? What's your target in this race?
Our initial goal is going to be $50,000.
Okay.
And we'll have stretch goals throughout. So, I mean, we're really hoping that we go beyond that, but that's our goal.
And how are you going to launch this? What activities or events are going to take place in conjunction with the launch of this event?
So there's a bunch of different things. The day that we launch itself, here in Missoula, we are going to have a party. I expect you both to be there.
Yeah.
It is going to be at the Iron Horse in the 501 Lounge, which is the upstairs part of the Iron Horse.
Yes.
It'll be running from 5 to 10.
Arnie.
At that party, we'll be doing video and fun stuff, but we're going to have vibrator races. So we've already built the track, you guys. It's going to be great. We're going to have huge raffles. We've got really big raffle gifts that we're going to be getting away.
Anytime you say that, what does that mean?
I think you know what it means.
Okay.
There'll be burlesque. The Cigarette Girls are going to
they're
perform.
great.
They are so great. They'll probably go on around 7:30, 8-ish.
This sounds like a
Arnie
fun
and I will
event.
get there.
We'll have a kissing
After the vibrator
booth, so you
race.
can take pictures kissing your friends or whatever.
I'm a little
You're going
germaphobic.
to have to shave before I do that.
There'll be a little bit of light snacks for people to
All right.
Now we're
partake
talking.
in, and then
And of
everyone
course,
can buy
people
their
then
drinks.
can also make contributions.
Nosh and Nookie.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
people, right? People make
Nosh and
contributions.
Nookie,
So
right.
that happens in Missoula. Well, what's going to happen in other places?
What's going to happen in San Francisco?
So we're not going to go to San Francisco specifically, but we are going to be launching it all over the web. So we go live with Indiegogo on that day. We'll do a big campaign on our social media with our friends
Good.
and family, with PR. We're sending out a bunch of boxes to different editors, that kind of thing. And then I'm going to be doing a little road trip, going to LA. I have a couple interviews set up. I'm sponsoring the Laugh Factory in LA. I'm going to be on LA
Oh,
Talk
just talking
Radio. Let's see, I've got a couple of interviews in New York. I'm really pitching to get on the Ellen Show, so I'm working hard to.
That's
Ellen Show would
fantastic.
be a great.
Yeah, it would be a
hit
great
for you.
place for us.
It would be incredible. But now, do you have someone that's helping you coordinate these interviews,
So
or are you doing it?
So far, we haven't. We've been doing it internally. So we
Save
do.
money.
Yeah, we're definitely saving money that way. Although we have reached out to a PR person that has helped us in the past. Just she's got a different skill set, and because this campaign's so important, she's going to hold our hand a little bit through making those connections that we can't get to.
Now, let me ask a question. Is it somebody who's helping you that's from this industry? Is it from the toy industry and the adult industry?
No.
Or they're from the crowdsourcing industry and launching a product online type?
No, they're
More
it's
along that line?
more just PR industry. Where
Business PR.
Yeah, so they know who to contact at the right
Sure.
magazines and at the right stations. So from our perspective, it's really easy for us to reach out to people that we have met on social media,
Right.
or that we have some connection through already. But that next step is getting in front of the right people at the right magazines, and they're going to help us a little
But
bit through this process.
If you get in touch with a blogger that has a 3 million person audience that really embraces this, that's a game changer.
Yeah, we do that all the time.
Right. So you're
That's-
doing that.
tons.
Yeah.
Tons.
So in the media, I've read in some sources that subscription services, have peaked in some industries. That they hit you from every angle, from food to
Razors.
all that kind of stuff. And now you sort of it's sort of changing. In fact, for example, Harry's razors that
Right.
only online, you can buy them at Target now.
Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah, you can go in Target. So they've moved away from just being a subscription kind of based operation. How do you think that's going to affect what you're planning to do? Are you ahead of the curve on this and understand where this might be leading and preparing to include those changes in your strategy?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we first started, we knew that was a strategy that we were going to have to take anyways. It was a trend that was apparent and has been apparent for a lot of years. I mean, Birchbox has been struggling a little bit. They're subscription based. They've been shifting their model.
Loot Crate.
Yep, exactly. And
Right.
Blue Apron.
Blue Apron.
So all of these people, and I met
Well, even here locally, Kale now is going to have dinners in
Fresh Market.
Market.
right, right.
Moving away from their delivery.
Yeah, Harry and his
Yeah.
team.
You have to be able to shift. But we knew we were going to have to do the shift before we started. So the way we looked at the business is that the signature boxes are our shift,
right?
Number one. And the subscription box is our way of building our base and our reputation, and the trust that we have with the customers. So we have a lot of people that love us. It gets us out there, and then we can start selling the signature boxes.
What's interesting, though, is that you have a very, a pleasant, easy to access brand for something that has always been shrouded in kind of like, sex stores or, online or the back of the magazine.
Yeah.
So the question really is that, why does a Harry's do a subscription business to then migrate and move over to retail? Because it's a very inexpensive way to actually market and build a product that then if you can cross over and demonstrate you've got huge demand, then the buyer at Target is going to say, great, I want to give you this much shelf space, this or that. Is that ultimately the plan, is to see this in retail, to see the Nooky Box as a standalone brand that could be kind of the easy to access kind of, the Meyer soap or the, I'm trying to think of like these private label brands that have come out.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we have started already having conversations with people about.
Sure.
There's one thing that we have to be doing before that happens, though. So right now we're still building the brand and the trust and the reputation, right? But before we start getting actually into retail stores, we need to be making our own products ourselves. So rather than choosing products that other people are making and just creating the experience for the consumer, we would then say, okay, we know what people love, and we're gonna design this for them, our brand. We have built the trust.
But you're doing that right now. You're building your brand off of the backs of existing established products, and then that's the next thing, right? So you start to private label. It's no different than, I think, kind of like what Meyer soap. I don't know if it was Meyer soap or there are products that, like a private label that was born out of, let's say, a Target, that then grows beyond Target.
Well, it's unless you're an expert, and we're not experts.
Right, we're not.
It's hard to determine in the current environment what trends are universal. For example, there are well-known chains of stores that are closing down stores by the hundreds. Right.
Yeah.
And there are malls in certain places that are dying.
Yep.
Now, we have a mall here that's not dying. In fact, it's going the opposite direction.
Yeah.
We're getting a big dinner theater. There's a Lucky's Market that's going into the mall here. I mean, they're trying to make it sort of like, a second epicenter for
a regional destination.
Yeah, a regional destination. And that doesn't necessarily work in every market.
Right, in every market.
And it's kind of hard to figure out. They're saying millennials are the ones that are killing chain stores and department stores because they rather shop on Amazon or eBay or all these other things. But there are other demographics that want to go and feel and touch and and be in the mall. So it's kind of hard to figure at any given time and place if you're trying to plan, as you are, for a year or two from now, what is the right modality to move forward with.
But what she's doing with the subscription thing is it really using social media and crowdsourcing and crowdfunding and the subscription model is it's a way to launch a product really from scratch.
Right. Exactly.
And you can't do that, and that's what's so beautiful about that kind of marketing kind of plan / technique is that you could do things more shoestring or and it's the barrier to entry, the cost of entry is a lot lower. Now, you do need funding. Your funding for marketing and social media is crucial because it's, that's how it takes off. That's how you build scale.
Yeah. And we haven't done, we haven't gotten to that level yet where we're putting enough money into marketing.
But you also, in that media, take a risk that if you don't get the affirmation that you need for what you're doing, you're in trouble.
Quickly enough.
If you're going online, for example, if you go into a store to buy a shower head.
Right.
And you go to whatever store, there's 10 or 12 of them, you might buy them based on price.
Right.
The way they look. But if you go online to buy one and one has 5 stars and one has 1 star, you're never going to buy the 1-star one, no matter what the price.
That's right.
Right. Yep.
So, I mean, that whole social media and the blogging and the consumer feedback right online in real time has changed,
the dynamic of purchase, right? How to
of
purchase.
purchasing and production.
Yeah.
You're not going to be making those 1-star heads anymore.
Yeah.
When before you might have been able to sell them into a small
Or-
chain of hardware stores.
Yeah.
Or they have this, they have something called reputation management, where you actually go out and you look for the poor reviews and you try to turn them around. And there's a lot of, you can successfully turn around a 1 or 3-star review and make it a 4 and 5-star review.
Well, if you know, on a site like TripAdvisor, for example, the good hotels respond to the bad.
Exactly,
We're sorry you
quickly.
had that experience.
Yeah.
We've changed the curtain rods
Right.
in all the rooms, and
You have to.
yeah, because it's
Transparent.
It's a different world, and for a consumer, it obviously is a better world. You have more reliability by
You're right.
looking at all of these different options. I mean, I was looking at some low cost airlines that I was thinking of flying because they have half the price
Sure.
for business class, but then you read the reviews and there's a reason. it's
Yeah.
half the price.
Right.
Absolutely.
So you're excited by this. This must be exciting.
I'm super excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's exhausting, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, just preparing for this kind of a campaign takes a lot of time and energy and coordination. The entire weekend we were shooting our crowdfunding video, and that was a ton of fun. We were doing a little spoofy video that's going to be live on the campaign page once it goes up, so everyone's going to have to take a look at it. Yeah, we had a lot of really great support from the community in terms of locations and friends coming out to be extras and help out in the film. So yeah, I'm not going to ruin it by saying exactly what we're doing,
don't
but
give it away.
it is super
You're teasing
funny.
it.
So we're in June now. When is the next theme box coming out?
So the next subscription box will launch August 1st.
And what is our theme known? Is it it is known by you? Is it available to reveal on our show?
Yeah, I can tell you what the theme is.
What is
So
the theme?
We always have sex is something, right? So
Right.
the current box is sex is healthy. In the past, we had sex is passion.
So there's carrots in the box.
Well, there's an emoji that's shaped like an eggplant.
Well, eggplant, that's almost as healthy as a carrot.
True.
So next quarter's box will be themed sex is wet.
Ah,
So it'll be products that work in the water.
in the water.
Yeah.
Water soluble. Wait a minute. And why that theme? Because we're in the summer.
Beach,
Yeah.
water,
Beach,
ocean.
beach,
Yeah.
beach, sand,
Exactly.
Sand.
Water.
sand, water.
We don't want to say sex is sandy because we all know about that experience.
Here we go.
Let's not talk about the sand.
No.
So
We already learned about silicone. Silicone times silicone doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't
That's
work. Doesn't.
That's a
Don't
good
go
pointer.
there.
That's a good pointer for our listeners.
So $50,000 is not insignificant. That's a lot of money. How
Yeah.
what's the techniques other than obviously social media, friends of friends, your existing customer base? What are you thinking about relative to where are there other pockets potentially of funding that might exist in the social media sphere?
Well, we just have the goal is based around how many boxes we think that we can sell based on our reach right now. So for every box we sell, somebody's paying whatever the box is priced at. We know what the profit's going to be on each of those boxes, and that's really what we're focusing on.
I see.
For how that works. So as long as we're getting in front of the media and we're doing a lot of both social and marketing pushes, it's very achievable. It's
Good.
So for our listeners who are not familiar with crowdfunding and would want to participate, what's the quid pro quo? If you contribute $100, what you don't get $100 worth of ownership of the company.
Oh, no. So we're not doing equity. This crowdfunding campaign is really specifically around our signature boxes. So there'll be different rewards levels. If somebody just wants to support us for $5, there'll be something digital that they can download. Maybe it'll be erotica, that kind of thing.
Right.
So that stuff's pretty easy. So we're trying to make sure that we have something for everybody, right? But we'll actually have our bro box on there. So people that come on and they want to buy it, they're going to get a lower price on that box initially than when we actually launch it on our page. So there'll be incentives that way. We'll have add-ons. So once we start selling a certain amount of one product, we'll start giving additional items in the box as add-ons, that kind of thing.
So as your subscriber base has grown over the last year, has the demographics of it changed at all, or is just more of the same that you were experiencing, a year ago?
I think it's more of the same. I mean,
So not more men than women than was before.
we're really kind of 50-50. We have. I was surprised initially when we started that we have as many men subscribers. But no, we're about 50-50, and it hasn't really changed over the year at all, which is really exciting. And the other thing I'm really happy about is that whenever I do have somebody that's comes on, they buy a subscription, and maybe they've stayed for 3 months or 3 cycles, and then they cancel. I send them an email and I say, hey, I just want to know why did you initially buy, and then what made you want to cancel?
Right.
And the thing that really is affirming for me is that 50% of the people that I email are responding, which is a huge. That's huge number. And they're really generous with their input. And they basically say, I really love your company and I really want you to continue to grow and I will be back. That was the major thing that I heard over and over again.
I just want to take a break, right?
Yeah, I broke up with somebody, or I moved, or just
I'm
other
in prison now.
Yeah, as soon as I get out of prison. But can you mail me one while I'm here?
It's a big seller in Block C.
Yeah.
And I think it's good that people could cycle in and cycle out, and you'll welcome them back when they're back, when they come back, and you'll try to keep on bringing them back.
Yep.
And do you have a lot of unsubscribes, by the way? I mean, is that or is that relatively low?
It's pretty average for
the
a
industry?
subscription company in general. And again, the unsubscribes are those people that we're talking about. I mean, maybe they've had 3 cycles. We're not expecting somebody to be a subscriber forever anyways. We just really want them to be a subscriber long enough, and ideally that would be a year. So
but
that's
they won't.
4 cycles.
But you could still communicate with. I'm talking about unsubscribes, meaning like opt out of the newsletter, opt out of your communication.
Oh no, we don't have a lot of that.
That's good because then they're just dormant, and you can continue to market to them.
Yeah.
But it's not a sever the relationship entirely.
No, and they really like what we're posting. It's relevant. Our newsletters, we try and keep fresh. We're always working on those. We get feedback from our customers all the time about our newsletters too. Just like, hey, this was a great article, or thanks for this input. And we have great bloggers that write for us and content that's fun and funny, and it's definitely relevant for the people that are on our list.
I can't help but think of some of the other local Missoula companies that you can or should be or will be or are partnering with, like Submittable, or do you know about Submittable, Michael Fitzgerald? The whole kind of concept of a clearinghouse for content submissions and how to take in content submissions it's a system.
Sure.
Right. It's a hard thing to explain. I'm not doing it very well. But anyway, it's a local Missoula company, or Mama Load, which is a local Missoula company that's speaking specifically to, they've been a guest of ours.
Yeah.
To your demographic.
Yeah.
Working, or moms, single moms, working moms, male moms, whatever.
Exactly.
So are there folks that you're working with?
Yeah. We have
Iron Horse, one.
Yeah. We have a handful of people that we're working with locally for sure. I think we're constantly trying to do more outreach and get in touch with the right people at the right time, and have value when we ask to collaborate, so that we're not just asking for something and we're offering something in return. Definitely because of the industry we're in, there's going to be different challenges in terms of who we work with. But yeah, I mean, we're excited about it.
That's good. I mean, because I know Missoula's a great town for that too. They love partnerships. There's a lot of entrepreneurial people here, and they're very generous with their feedback and time. And it's in terms of a place to incubate a company, this is a great place to do it.
Yeah, Missoula's great for this.
Sure. So, Meg, for our listeners, who are you? Tell us a little about your background. What got you to the Nooky Box? It wasn't breadcrumbs, I know that. So what were you doing before this?
Well, I've always been an entrepreneur in one way or another. I did grow up in Missoula, and then I left for a while, and I started different companies around the country. My last company was a Paul Mitchell Cosmetology School, so I was always in the beauty industry. At least for a really long time, or the restaurant industry. Initially, when I came back to Missoula, it was to help my father start a brewery, in fact. But once I got here, we did a lot of research and just decided that wasn't the direction that we wanted to go. there's so many things going on in Missoula around beer and that kind of stuff, and I just felt like that wasn't my passion. And I had a conversation with a couple of friends one night about my next steps and the things that I was thinking about doing, and I knew I wanted to do something within the world of relationships. I didn't specifically go straight to sex toys, but I am that person in my friend groups that people come to. I am, and I felt like, well, I want other people to be able to experience the same enthusiasm around their own lives.
Sure.
How do I help them get the confidence?
If somebody comes in and starts talking about their life and crying and complaining and upset, just hand them the box.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Just take
Here
this
you
and
go.
call me in the morning.
Read it, discuss it with your partner. Call me in the morning.
But
fantastic.
It breaks that ice when you can really just sit there and talk about sex toys like it's no big deal. Sometimes people are really surprised and they laugh, like uncomfortably, and then they realize, well, it's so natural.
It's a titillating topic, but you mentioned something earlier that really sort of drives it home to I think maybe our listeners. It's the number one selling category on Amazon.
Yeah,
it's not the surfboards or vacuum cleaners. It's sex toys, and
sex
so
sells.
Lots of people are buying it.
And
right?
Listen, sex has always led the technological revolution. Anything that's really come of age started in that business, right? Home video, home movies, home video, Betamax, VHS, DVD, digitization, the internet.
Yep.
The web. I mean, it all really took off. I mean, we used to work at AOL, right? I worked at AOL for many years. You want to know what the number one areas of AOL were? It wasn't news and autos. It was the sex. It was that, those that we used to call it AOL Hometown, which was this, we used to call it the back alley of the web. And it was just that type of talk.
It's a part of human behavior and existence, and people can do it in privacy this way. They don't have to go and walk into an Adam and Eve store if they don't want to.
Right. It can be intimidating.
It's just a little intimidating for
and that's why
people.
Retail may come around actually, and you may be the first one that could break through retail, because as you were talking and you talked about coming out of Paul Mitchell and beauty and that whole industry, I can't help but think that this whole notion of boutiques and beauty and women and men actually caring for themselves with unique goods, jewelry, books, candles, the whole kind of boutique line that's maybe attached to a beauty salon or a hair cutting salon.
Yeah, sure.
I could see them with your product.
I can
proudly,
too.
displayed at the.
This is not such a big leap from
not at all.
Walk into the mall and walk past a Victoria's Secret store, which now has 18-foot high photographs of women in provocative poses.
Exactly.
I mean, and people are walking by wheeling their kids in carts, and I mean, it's accepted
everywhere.
part. It's everywhere.
Are we less puritanical than we were 10 years ago or 20 years ago?
I think we probably are in general.
I think we are. But we are still pretty puritanical.
We are
in the country,
rest of the world.
in this country. And part of the idea behind this particular company, the Nooky Box, is that we want people to feel comfortable not only talking about it, but supporting us, because we have a mission to encourage people to talk to each other,
healthy, upfront, direct way.
And education is around everything. We want to make sure that they understand what you would use this product for, why it would benefit you. If you don't like it, here's something else that we think that you should try. These are the reasons why. Here's the research done. And that whole education piece would be kind of the next spin-off. I mean, right now it's all about content.
Well, and things, you say we are pure candidate, but the world is changing. I'm doing some work, in the HIV world with a company that has a 60-second HIV test, and we're doing some expansion into Brazil. We're working with a company in Brazil that sells 40 million female contraceptives a year. 40 million.
Just in
Brazil. A year, which means women are taking responsibility in a way that in many other countries they don't. They rely on the man to take responsibility for in a sexual relationship.
Sure.
There, they're selling more female contraceptives than they're selling male contraceptives.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So there are dynamics at work around the world that make things change, and there are dynamics changing here.
Yeah, I hope
Without
so.
question.
Let's take a quick break. Our guest is Meg from the Nooky Box. That's the nookybox.com. And we are proudly presented by Dawn Maddox Glacier Sotheby's. I'm sure she loves the juxtaposition.
Yeah.
Dawn Maddox Glacier Sotheby's International Realty.
Well, you never know. Dawn might be selling her commercial space to build her factory here in
Absolutely. Exactly. You are listening to What Do You Know? Back after this. We are back with Meg from the Nooky Box.
Meg Ross. So you raise your $50,000 and maybe even more. It gets, you get great traction. What do we see coming down the line? Beside having the signature box and the bro box and the Betty, what are some of the other things that you want to do?
Well, definitely our goal would be to start making our own products. I'm hoping that we can get into something like that next year. But in the long term, one of my passions really is the educational piece around sex.
Sure.
A separate platform that really is a tool for people to go and research around sex questions.
Have you had a chance to take a look at what high schools do in sex education? Have you seen what the curriculum looks like?
A little bit, yeah. And, the thing is that there's just not a lot there at all.
Right. And in many schools, the attitude is it's the parents' responsibility.
Sure.
And then, as we all know from every stereotype in the world, many parents feel very uncomfortable talking to their kids about sex.
Sure. And that's the biggest challenge, though, is that when you're not speaking to your kids about sex and you're relying on the schools to do it,
right.
or vice versa. I think it's the community's job to feel like they can
Sure.
educate
what did
their
you do?
children.
I'm going to bring Scott into this, not to get too personal. You have 3 boys.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, the youngest one is what, 16 now?
16.
So how did they get their education?
We gave it to them.
Right, you sat down and talked to them.
Talked to them, but also when the time came for them to be active, we gave them all of the materials and protection so that they would be responsible. So, they shouldn't want for that. They should know where to get that.
Right, you
it's
felt
not
that
a taboo
was,
subject.
Right.
It's not an off-limits subject with us. It can't be.
Right.
It can't
Sometimes it's more dangerous to be a parent of boys than it is girls because they can get themselves into trouble.
Sure.
And you have no idea what's going on. And, you just, then all of a sudden you pick up their head and you're like, what happened?
They don't have any physical manifestations of being in trouble, as, for example, getting pregnant as a
Sure.
result of
But they
Sure.
cause it. So,
Right.
Or they're part of it. So anyway, it's, it shouldn't be so, right. So anyway, the point is that we've Kathy and I have, and really Kathy more so than me even.
Sure.
But so you want to take on some of the responsibilities of doing a little bit of that, not necessarily for high school age kids, but for people in general who are naive about the full range of things that they want to know about.
Or even just giving parents the tools to talk to their kids. So just making a resource. We're almost like Wikipedia.
Right.
You want to come to the Nooky Box platform to get these questions answered.
Right.
And then that would really look like collaborating with a lot of other people to help with the education part and,
Sure.
and the content itself. But even the idea of writing the curriculum for public schools around sex education
Right.
would be something I would be really, really interested
Right, and you
in.
have a team of people that would help you with that, of course, that you
Yeah.
believe
Yeah.
are the leading edge experts in the area.
Yeah, exactly.
So, how do folks get a hold of you?
Meg
how
Ross.
do Meg Ross and the Nooky Box? How do they find out more about the crowdfunding events? Give us all the coordinates.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find us at thenookybox.com. That's where you can buy a subscription box or anything in our shop as of right now. On June 28th, we're going to be launching our crowdfunding campaign. You'll be able to find information about that on the website or on any of our social media channels. So we got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest. You can also sign up for our newsletter if you go to thenookybox.com. And you could, if you're local, come to our party on the 28th of June between 5 and 10 p.m. for our launch of our signature boxes.
Scott
It
will
is
be
open
there
to
at
the public.
4:30.
I will be.
There will be food and there will be sex toys and vibrator races. It will be a blast.
and you have the cigarette girls.
And we have the burlesque, yeah.
Yeah, the
They're great.
burlesque girls, and they have a great Euro salad over there at the Iron Horse.
They do. They've got good drinks and good food. We'll have a signature drink made that night.
Well, good. Meg, it's always great to catch up with you and hear about what you're doing and have you on the show. And we wish you good luck. And we'll see you on the 28th.
All right.
And much success. Yes, much success, Meg. Okay, Arnie, I will see you next week.
Next week.
Thanks, guys.
Take care. Thanks, Meg.
Thank you for listening to What Do You Know?
I can't wait for the next show, Scott.
I'm excited too, Arnie. If you'd like to suggest a guest, send me an email at scottrichmond@townsquaremedia.com. We'll see you next week. And thanks for listening to Newstalk KGVO, AM 1290, 101.5 FM, and newstalkkgvo.com.